Okay, this module we started last week, and I will brief you what we have discussed so far. Then on the first day we have discussed what is Java and its specialty among other languages. And then we have discussed about what is a platform, then applications of the Java in day-to-day life and in the world. Then the types of the applications, we can classify the Java applications into 4 categories as standalone, web application, enterprise application, and mobile application. Then we have discussed what is a standalone application, then what is a web application, and what is an enterprise application, and what is a mobile application which can be developed using Java. Then we have discussed about the platforms and the editions. Under that we have discussed about the Java Standard Edition or the Java SC. Then mainly we'll be using this Java SC in your module. Then Enterprise Java will be discussed in the next module in I think in third year, as I guess. Anyway, it is a separate module. Then Java ME, Java FX. Then if we take the Java SC, it is a programming platform, and this includes these application program interfaces like java.lang, IO, and java.util. Time to time, when we are writing programs, we will be using these things. These are just introduction to the editions. Then we have discussed about the history of the Java language. The father of the language is called as James Gosling, and this was introduced in 1991. And it was initially called as Oak, and later it became to Java, right? Sun Microsystems released the first public implementation as Java 1.0 in 1995. So it was initiated in 1991. This was named as Java 1.0 in 1995. Right? Then in 2006, this was released as open source software. Then in 2007, Sun finished the process and making all of the Java's core code free and open source. This is a brief history for the language. Then we came to the features of Java language. It's object-oriented, purely object-oriented, then simple, secured, platform-independent, robust, portable, architecture-neutral, dynamic, interpreted, high performance, and multi-threaded. Right? Then from this point onwards, I'll be starting the discussion today. Then we'll consider the meanings of these terms in brief. If we take the object-oriented, hope you know what is an object, right? In Java, we can create an object using a class. In later sessions, you will learn how to create an object from Java. I hope you have the experience of creating objects in C++. Then platform independent. We can say, unlike many other languages, Java is including compile, then it is not compiled into platform specific machine. Right? If we consider the languages called as C or C++, after compiling, the compilation generates platform specific things. But after compiling Java, the converted thing will not be platform specific. Therefore, this is called as platform independent. In later slides, you can see that this platform independence is mainly created through the bytecode. In this description, it says bytecode is distributed over the web and interpreted by the Java virtual machine, where the platform is being run on. Then simple. This is called as simple because the language has been designed to learn easy. Then secure. Java's secured feature enables to develop virus-free, tamper-free systems. Authentication techniques are based on public key encryption. Right? I think these key encryptions you have learned in databases. The key encryption is used to create authentication and protection of a document or a database. Right? Then architecture neutral. Java compiler generates architecture neutral object file format which will make the compiled code executable on many processors with the presence of Java runtime system. Then we can call Java as portable. Portability is a feature of the Java language because being architecture neutral and having no implementation dependent aspects of the specification makes Java portable. Compiler is written in NCC with clean portability boundary and it is a POSIX subset. Right? Anyway, what you have to understand is portability is due to the architecture neutral feature. Then we can call Java as robust because Java makes an effort to eliminate error-prone situations by emphasizing mainly on compile time error checking and runtime error checking. In simple terms, robust means the program can stay without causing any corruptions when an error occurs. Right? If a program is destroyed due to an error, then we can't say that it is robust. Then multi-threaded. With Java's multi-threaded feature, you can write programs which can perform many tasks simultaneously. Due to this multi-threaded feature, the Java program can perform many tasks simultaneously, and the feature will allow the developers to construct interactive applications with which can smoothly run. Then we can call Java as interpreted because of the bytecode. We can call it as interpreted. Then bytecode is translated on the fly to native machine instructions and it's not stored anywhere. Bytecode is stored, it will not store anywhere. The development process is more rapid and analytical. And linking is an incremental and lightweight process. But anyway, there was a power fluctuation Therefore, the connection was temporarily disconnected. Anyway, now it's working. Hope all of you can hear me now. Right?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Anyway, today there are a lot of power fluctuations. Therefore, we have to patiently withstand with this situation. I am conducting this lecture from the universities while staying at the university premises. Anyway, we'll continue from the point where we have stopped. Right. I think you can see this screen. Uh, we were talking about the high performance, right? Then we can introduce the next feature as distributed. Then why it's called as distributed? Because it has been designed to distribute in different environments as well as on the internet. Then the Java is considered to be more dynamic than C and C++ due to its design. And this has been adapted to all with the existing environment. And Java programs can carry extensive amount of runtime information which can be used to verify and resolve access to objects on runtime environment. And these are some machine is an abstract machine. In other terms, it doesn't physically exist. Then it can run programs which are written in other languages and compiled to Java bytecode. These are available for many hardware and software platforms. Right? JVMs are available for different hardwares and for software platforms. Software platforms mainly means the operating systems. Then we can consider the tasks performed by the JVM. Then it will load the code, verify the code, execute the code, and it will provide the runtime environment. Right? Those are the tasks or the functions performed by the JVM. Then the next term which comes with the Java world is Java Runtime Environment. Acronym we can give it as JRE. In some materials, you may find it as Java RTE, right? But the frequently used terminology is the JRE. Then if we take the JRE, it is a set of software tools which are used to develop Java applications. Then actually it is used to provide the runtime environment and it's the right? The implementation of the Java virtual machine is done by this is physically existing and it will contain and it will contain users MB is not physically existing but JR is physically existing and the implementation of the JVM is done by the JRE. In addition to that, because it's physically existing, it will have the libraries and other files relevant to the JVM. Then we'll move on to the next slide, that is about the Java Development Kit or the JDK. If we take the JDK, it is a software development environment which is used to develop Java applications and applets, right? Applet. Applet is a small program which runs on the internet or the web browser. Then this is also physically existing, and it will contain the JRE with other development tools. Then we can consider the JDK is an implementation of any one of the below given Java platforms released by the Oracle Corporation. Right? Can be Standard Edition Java Platform, Enterprise Edition Java Platform, or the Micro Edition Java Platform. These things we have discussed in the previous slides. Standard Edition, Enterprise Edition, and the Micro Edition. Then the JDK contains a private Java virtual machine or JVM and a few other resources like interpreter, loader, a compiler, Javac, an archiver, JR, a documentation generator, Javadoc, etc. to compile the development of a Java application. Right? Then JDK will contain. Anyway, whether I'd like to know whether you are familiar with this IDEs. Have you used Notepad in Java development? Or have you learned Java, at least the fundamentals before? In NVQ level 5 or somewhere in A levels? Any familiarity with the language?
Yes, madam. We learned in NVQ.
No. Oh, yes. Anyway, I have received the messages. No. Okay. Anyway. At least there will be one person who has studied this fundamentals even. Anyway, then we'll move on to the next slide. This is about the void code. So far, several times I have used this. Right, before discussing the bytecode, actually I want to mention about the source code. Right, source code is the program which we write using an IDE or the text editor. Right. If we take the NetBeans, then there will be two different windows appearing for the source code which we enter using that source code window. Then there will be another code for the window for the output generation area. Right? Then usually source code is the program which we enter to the machine. Then when we take the bytecode, it's the instruction set for the Java virtual machine, and it will act similar to an assembler, which is used. Then as soon as the Java program is compiled, Java bytecode is generated. This is what you have to understand. We never write the bytecode. It is generated when a Java program is compiled. In more simple terms, Java bytecode is the machine code in the form of a class file. Right? This is the identification feature of that. After compiling the source code or the Java program, this .class file is generated by the JVM with the help of Java bytecode. We achieve platform independence in Java. This is how we achieve the platform. When we write a program, compiles that program and a bytecode is generated for that piece of code. Then when we wish to run this .class file or any other platform, we can do that, right? That statement is not required. Anyway, this .class file is generated once and it will run as and when we require to when we run the program. After the first compilation, the bytecode generated is run by consideration, right? This is run by the Java virtual machine, but not by the processor. Then it means that we only need to have basic Java installation on any platforms which we want to run our code on. Then resources required to run the bytecode are made available by the Java virtual machine, which calls the processor to allocate the required resources. Then diagrammatically, I can show you how this bytecode is generated. Source code, it is having the .java extension. Then source code goes to the compilation process to the compiler. Then compiler generates the bytecode or the .class file. Then depending on the OS, there will be different .class files will be generated. As an example, this bytecode file, sorry, this bytecode file is having the .class extension and it will be implemented through the JVM. JVM is dependent on the OS or the platform. Then JVMs for Windows, JVM for Linux, and JVM for Mac. Likewise, there will be different JVMs. Then the implementation is done by the bytecode implementation is done by the JVM. Anyway, bytecode is having only zeros and ones, therefore it is machine code. Right. Then we'll consider the advantages of the bytecode. If we take the bytecode, it is a set of instructions for the JVM and it may differ from system to system, but all can interpret the bytecode. One point to keep in mind is that bytecodes are non-runnable codes and rely on the availability of an interpreter to execute, and thus the JVM comes into play. Bytecode is essentially the machine level language which runs on the Java virtual machine. It gets a stream of bytecode per method of the class. Whenever that method is called during the execution of program, the bytecode for that method gets invoked. Java C not only compiles the program but also generates the bytecode for the program. Java C means the Java compiler. The bytecode implementation makes Java a platform independent language and it helps to add portability to Java, which is lacking in languages like C or C++. Then portability will ensure that Java can be implemented on a wide array of platforms like desktops, mobile devices, servers, and other devices as well as etc. Right? Mobile devices, servers, etc. Supporting to this, Sun Microsystems captioned Java as write once, read anywhere, or WORA in response to the bytecode interpretation. Right? Sun Microsystems has introduced Java as write once, read anywhere. This is created through the bytecode. Then next one is the installation of the NetBeans. I hope all of you are using this Windows platform. Therefore, I have used how to install NetBeans on Windows. First of all, you will have to install the JDK. To use NetBeans for Java programming, you need to first install Java Development Kit or the JDK, then download NetBeans IDE from this link. In this link, there will be many bundles available, but for in the step 2, you have to run the downloaded install. Right? Then again, if you have a piece of paper, better to take down these steps. First of all, you have to install the JDK. JDK also you will be able to download from this NetBeans site. According to my memory, it's available there. If not, please search from the Google search and download the relevant JDK for the IDE. Then after that, you can download the site. Then after downloading, you have to run the downloaded installer of the IDE. That means if the JDK is not available, then it will not. It will generate an error message. Anyway, take down these steps. There are only 3 steps, right? Step 0 is install the JDK. It's given as a separate one. If the JDK is, according to my memory, this JDK is not available in the NetBeans anyway, you have to search it and download. No? I'll give you 1 or 2 minutes time to take down. No need of taking down or each and every word of the slide, but in simple terms, take down the step. Then we'll be moving on to the next slide. Then after installing the IDE, it's kind of a screen. Anyway, this diagram I have obtained from the internet. Therefore, it will giving the version as 6.1. Right? You have at least a version of 8. Anyway, the site will be having the latest version. Right? Don't search the 6.1 and install. Please install the latest version. Right? Anyway, the appearing window will be same as this one. And only the NetBeans icon will be available there. Right? Then we'll move on to the different parts of the window. If I Then in the main window, you can find the main menu, right? This is the main menu. Here is file, edit, view, navigate, and those things. Same as in, this is very much similar to a general window displayed by the Windows operating system for Microsoft Word and those things. One person is asking, Madam, can we use NetBeans ID 8.0.2? Okay, no problem. Right? Anyway, my recommendation is the version 8 point something, right? If you have an older version like 7.2, doesn't matter, right? If you want, you can, because you have already installed version 7 point something, then for the main operations will be same. Right? Then this is the main window, and it is having this main menu. If I move on to the next slide, main menu. This is similar to that of other Windows applications, and it will provide most of the commands which will need to use NetBeans, including those for creating, editing, compiling, running, and debugging programs. Then the menu items are enabled and disabled in response to the current context. Right? That is the thing which you want to keep in mind. Available on the current context, some of the menu items. Then toolbar will provide buttons for frequently used commands on the menu bar. Then toolbars are enabled and disabled in response to the current context, same as in menu items. Toolbars will be enabled or disabled in response to the current context, right? Then we'll move on to creating a project. Then in this main window, you can see the menu called as a file. To create a project, we use that. Choose file. When you click on that, you can see new project. To display the new project dialog box. Then I will show you the new project dialog box. This is the new project dialog box, right? You can see the categories as Java, then projects as Java application. Then there will be several buttons given for back, next, finish, cancel, likewise. Then select general in the categories section and Java application in the project section, and click next to display the new Java application dialog box. Right? Then this is the new Java application dialog box. You can enter a name for the project. Then you can select the location to save your projects. Better not to use the C drive, because if something goes wrong with your machine, then you will lose all the programs which you have stored there. Therefore, my recommendation is to choose another location other than C. If you have created a project folder, then it will display this. Then there will be two options given for this. Create main class. If you check this box, then class. Then enter the first or give a name for the class. When you are naming the class, better to use a capital alphabet letter as the first character of the class name. Then enter a name in the project name field and select the location to save the project. Create class or classes after a project is created. Enter the name for the class. Finally, click Finish to create the project. Right? Then better to take down these steps, right? Creating a project. How you can create a project. I will give you few 1 or 2 minutes time to create to take down this thing. And remember that only one class can be created at a time, right? But there can be several classes located in one project. Right, I think now you have taken down. Anyway, we'll move on to further. Then this is the created project, right? This is the project window. You can, on the left hand side, you can just see the project window. Then a project is represented using this coffee cup symbol. Then there will be several folders created automatically, and within these folders you will be able to find uh, find the classes which you have created, and some automatically added files also will be there. Right, this is the code editor window. Right, then this is the end of the presentation for today, but I will show you how to run a program. Right, then I will stop sharing this screen, and I hope I'll be able to run the NetBeans here. I think you will be able to see this window. Right, it's shared here. Then if you want to create a new project, this is how you can create it. Go to File, then select New Project. Then select Java Application. Right, then click Next. Then you will be directed to this new Java application window. Enter the project name. Enter the project name as I'll say PRJ. Today's date is 3_22. No, we'll use another name. PRJ 21_0322. Right? Then location is given as D NetBeans. Then we have to give this I will be using as the main class. Therefore, put the check mark there and give the class name. I told you that when you are giving the class name, use the capital letter as the class name. Then I'll say first, then click Finish. Right? Then you can see that in this project window, the project is created using the given name PRJ21_3_22. Then you can see the created class name is the first.java. Right? This is the code editor window or the source window, source view. Then there you can see that some of the statements are automatically generated. public class first. First is the name given to the class. Then you have the main method called as public static void main string args. Right? Then I will enter a statement here. System dot. Then the pop-up menu will display. From there you can select system.out.println. Print line. Hello from Java. Right? It's a state. Then after that you can click on this save button or control shift plus S. Click save. Right? After entering this line, actually this line is used to generate a statement to this output window. This ash colored area is called as the output window. The output is generated in this area, right? Then to run the program, you can click on this button. On the toolbar, you can see this run project button. This is given as a green colored arrow. Click on this. Then it will display the output message, hello from Java. Right? Then if you want to add another line, then you can say system.out.print line, and say then again save the program, run it. Right? And you can see the output. Print line always generates and output to the next line. Right? You can see that these ash colored lines are not displaying. Anyway, I'll be giving you all these details next day, because these things have been used as commits. If you have a piece of paper, better to take down this program. No need of taking down these comments. Right, these comments are not required, but take down this last thing. These things are not required. Take down these 4 statements, including the brackets. If you miss one bracket, then it will generate an error. And correctly take down the statements, because simple Java is case sensitive, right? It means that it identifies the difference between the simple letters and the capital letters. Okay, right. Then this is the basic introduction to the IDE as well as for the Java language. Then what you have to do is you have to install this JDK and the IDE in your machine and run this test example. This is first one is the test example. Without continuing that, actually it will be very difficult to continue. Right? Therefore, please do that. Anyway, I will stop the discussion for today, but remember that though I am stopping the discussion today, you have to do lot of work. Right? because you have to get ready your IDE, otherwise you won't be able to continue this module, right? From next day onwards, directly I'll be writing the programs, and I think I don't know whether you will be able to simultaneously work with me. Anyway, I'll be providing you the code, then you can compile it and run it on your machine. Right? If you haven't installed the IDE in your machine, then you will find lot of difficulties, right? Please don't misunderstand that I have finished the lesson early and skip the session, because this is now the remaining part is your one, right? If this thing is not properly working, then it will be very hard to continue. Understood? Students, what has happened? Are you available?
Yes, miss.
Huh? You are available there, no?
Yes, miss.
Now, have you understood what I have taught you?
Yes, miss.
Anyway, there's a message. What's in Sinhala? If I tell you that though I am make I if I tell you this thing in Sinhala now, ඔයාලා මේක install කරගන්නම ඕන, right? From next week onwards, I will be directly writing the programs. මේක වැඩ කරන්නේ නැත්නම් you have to get the support from one of your members. Anyway, I can't log into your machines and check that ne. JDK එක වැඩ කළා. Now you have, after installing the JDK, you have to install the IDE, then enter this program. Now you have seen what I have got in the output window. The same thing you should get into your output window. හරිද? මේ program එක හරියට run වෙන්නේ නැත්නම් something wrong in your program. Program එකේ වැරදි තියෙනවා නම් it will highlighted in red color, right? Then if I, as an example, I can show you this. If I miss this OU thing, out OU, then it will highlighted in red color. Right? Those things will be there. ඒක නිසා මම නැවතුව දැන් මම අද මේ lesson එක ඕව කරා කියලා then no need of worrying, right? මේ ටික කරගන්න ඕන. Otherwise we can't continue. තේරුණාද? Anyway, you have to download it and install, right? Then I'll stop the session for today. Then from next day onwards, I'll be starting the next day. I'm planning to start the variables, data types, and those things.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam.